Now, advertisers have been vying for our attention in the run-up to Christmas. Brand and reputation research company Ornico says the number of new adverts rose every month between August and October. But given the tough economic times, will advertising spend come crashing down next year? Well, to discuss, we're now joined by Gugu Mtshali, who is the head of advertising monitoring at Ornico. Great to have you with us, Gugu.
Thank you for the invite.
Let's start with the spend now. Presumably we can't think that it's because of our great economy, because I'm sure everybody spends before Christmas.
Yes, what we generally see is when you compare year on year, every year there's like a 10% increase in terms of advertising activity. But
towards the end of the year, or compared to the
towards the end of the year, what happens is it starts growing from August, September, October and November, and then in December there's a decrease. So which means that advertisers are starting to put in new campaigns from September, October and November. So when you have the buying spent, then you start buying in December.
So how does festive season spending this year compare to last year?
We've done figures up to November. We haven't really seen what December will look like.
Okay, so we're looking more at
but yeah, we're looking at the history. But based on what the experts have been saying is that consumers are starting to be more confident, which means that they're most likely to spend a bit more this Christmas. And they were looking at the figures for April, which is considered to be like the mini Christmas, that consumers were withdrawing a lot of cash and spending, so which means that might result in this festive season being a good one.
We have seen strong retail sales, also very strong car sales, and I see that car manufacturers were the #1 advertisers. Is that still the trend at the moment?
Yes, that's still the trend. Car manufacturers are big in advertising, and
they're just riding their momentum right now.
They've been like so since beginning of the year. And when you compare year on year, based on last year, what they spent last year, they've had like a 10-15% increase this year.
Sure. Who are the other big spenders?
Supermarkets is also very big. Telecoms is big. We know that technology is very big these days. So they are starting to have those packages where you get the gadgets and you get the smartphones easily accessible. So they're spending quite a lot of money.
This is obviously great for media houses, but we know that consumers are under incredible pressure, and a lot of people are saying that that spending will tail off next year. What does that mean? What is the outlook for 2012?
For 2012 in advertising, we're looking at more advertisers are starting to recognize that digital media is the most cost-effective way of advertising. So they can spread out the advertising without having to add on any costs.
All right, so that's going to become a big trend.
Yes.
I do see that it
has started to be a trend this year, but I think next year it's going to
be more brave.
Yes.
I do see that the top 10 advertising companies make the majority of ads. What does that mean for the advertising industry? Is it quite hard for new, smaller players to get in, do you think?
It is quite hard. If you're looking at the likes of the telecoms company especially, they hold the bulk of advertising across from January to December. So as a small company, it is hard unless if you're clever about your advertising and you become more creative. There's a lot of clutter in the industries these days, and in advertising you have to be more creative and more clever in way of advertising.
Thank you so much for your analysis. That was Gugu Mtshali.